Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this free recap video, we're going to talk about crude oil. Crude oil has had an interesting afternoon, but this was something that occurred between 1 and 1:30 this morning, and there's a few things that I want to outline about this setup that's really going to, I think, help you with your intraday trading. First of all, how do you trade intraday, not end of day, intraday trend reversals? I'll walk you through that. And then also, what are the related names that can trigger off other trend reversals when one domino falls and will continue to hit another? So crude's in the spotlight here. Between 1 and 1:30 Eastern today, we saw that crude had done a few very interesting things. Number one, what it had done is it had sold off $2. Now that's a very important number on a Monday. It's something we call the daily price movement range. We put those out there every day. So we had sold off the $2. So we were at the bottom of our range. In other words, near support, potential support, from a historical and volatility-based price movement range assessment. So all that means is I'm really not expecting crude oil to go too much further below 51.64. That would be the $2 sell-off from today's high. So the daily price movement range was exhausted, and that is when, if a trader is looking for a potential, say, profit-taking bounce or any kind of intraday reversal, we shorten the time frame to, say, a 3 or 5, maybe a 15-minute time frame, and we look for what's known as a wave reversal. Now this is a really easy pattern to identify. Now there are certain filters that make it better. The daily price movement range is one of them. But what you want to recognize, and please don't go look for this any old time. There are a few filters, but I think once you start to understand the transition, this will make sense and we can build on it from here. But what happens is the market was printing all these red grab candles, and the red grab candles tell me that all of this action was bearish. We were in essentially a very nice intraday downtrend. Now, I've been short crude for some time, and this was a great day to see a $2 plus sell-off. Around 51.64, I was looking for the market to exhaust. It ended up exhausting just below that. No problem. We're not here to pick bottoms, gang. This is not about bottom picking. This is about actually waiting for an intraday reversal of the trend. Emphasis on intraday. Now, this is how simple it is. The market bottoms out at a level that I feel is exhaustive. That happens here. The market then prints a blue grab candle. That's a neutral candle. We know that there's a little bit more of a neutral sentiment or less bearishness on this 5-minute chart of crude. Then we print a green grab candle. Now, the green grab candle is what we would basically call the switch candle. All right, what's happened? We've switched from red to blue to green, and the green candle, as it emerges through the 34 EMA on the high, that's what triggers my candles to change color. These grab candles, by the way, grab is an acronym for green, red, and blue. You know, when I developed these about 20 plus years ago, no one really tells you just name your tools after yourself. I call them grab candles, right? Green, red, and blue, and I do like calling them that. So once we emerge through the 34 EMA on the high, the candle goes green. Once the candle goes green and breaks that level, now it's a buy. It's what's known as a wave reversal, and this green candle right here is what we call the switch candle. That candle has now triggered a buy. And then you can see what's happened. Now, I think if you add on the late day news that came out, some headline psychology was what? The U.S. is placing sanctions on the PDVSA. That's the state-run Venezuela oil. Probably going to send oil for the near term up just a little bit more. That works for us. We're looking for about a 45 to 55 cent upside. The first target was basically 52.20 to 52.28. All right. So this is an intraday trade. Now we'll dive into this a little bit more in the premium video. But once you have a setup like this, now what? Where else could we see setups? Number one, how do we use the DPMR filter? That's the first part. Before you get into the way of reversal, you've got to have that daily price movement range filter. The other thing is getting into related. What's the first domino that falls? Crude. What about Exxon? What about XLE, right? Exxon's number one weighted name within XLE, but where are the opportunities that would coordinate with that, right? So it's not just about buying crude, but where else could we take advantage of movement to the upside once crude starts rallying? So we start to look for related names, and then we look for relative performance, right? It's twofold. Look for related names, related ETFs, related stocks, and then prioritize in order of relative performance. If I'm going to buy crude and I'm then going to go buy an ETF or maybe some of the individual stocks within the ETF, I'm going to prioritize the names that are relative performance leaders. So I'm going to look for charts that are making the same transition with crude, not lagging behind at lower lows, not moving sideways. Where are the opportunities where there's a name that's ready to run as well, looking a lot like crude, shifting a lot like crude, and printing these green grab candles as they emerge above the wave, just like crude. Okay, so that's really what we want to do. I hope this helps. Think about the dominoes that have to fall, and think about the wave reversal next time you're tempted to go bottom pick, right? This is a great trade for us, actually a great series of trades for us, all predicated upon essentially being patient and waiting for the setup. Hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next update.